a lot of people don't really address people who listen to, pop music channels. Like they always
You kidding?
seem to be talking to the people that are on, that listen to talk,
Talk,
news talk instead of
right.
there's other mama bears out there, Kari Lake, that love throwbacks and they want to know what's happening and what the people that are running for office have to say as well. So
That's
that's why I
right.
really do appreciate you being here.
Well, and almost all of our staff and our inner circle are young people who listen to your station. So this is who the new Republican Party is. It's the young people who are tired of what's happening in this world, and they realize if they don't jump in and get involved, somebody else is gonna chart the course for their future, and it's not going to be good.
Let's just dive right in. Like we said,
Okay.
we're down to the wire on who you have to reach in campaigning. Really, this is like it's two issues. I call it 2 and 10. Everyone who's been on the show is just kind of talking about the two things that they feel are most important to Arizonans, right? And your plan to address these issues. And then depending on time, we can talk about some cool stuff after that. But I really want you to get the independent voters, the mama bears out there that they haven't decided who they're voting for yet, as we're getting down to the 36 hours here until we can
Oh
vote.
man, I know. Less than that even. Well, there's so many issues. I mean, I wish we just had two important issues, but there's a million. But let me start with a lot of them. Our safety and security. If you're a mom, you just don't feel as safe as you did before. I know I don't. Walking across the grocery store parking lot is not as safe as it used to be. We want to stop the flow of fentanyl that's pouring in. I've talked to so many moms and dads on the campaign trail. Without a doubt, the hardest conversations I've had are with parents who lost a son who's 19 or a daughter who's 20 to fentanyl poisoning. It's the #1 killer right now of our young people. Over car crashes, over COVID, over cancer, it's fentanyl poisoning, and we have to put an end to it. It's coming through Arizona. I have a plan to do that. And just being able to afford everyday necessities. That's why we came up with a plan to put $500 million back in the pockets of Arizona. And so we're going to get rid of the grocery tax and the tax you pay when you rent your apartment or house. And we're going to try to find ways to help beat and combat this Biden inflation until we can get him out of office, because he's done a terrible job. We also want to see our education improved. There's no reason our high school kids shouldn't be getting out of high school with real life skills and job training so they can take on some of the big jobs. We're going to bring back trade skill training into high school, vocational training, and career certification. So all of our young people at age 18 are ready to take on jobs, good paying jobs right out of high school, if that's what they wish to do. If not, they go off to college and they get a college education. Either way is fine, but we just have to do a better job with our kids' education.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go with that, and we're gonna work back. But I do
Okay.
agree with you. College isn't for everyone, but a great skill, a great trade can work, right? And so that's
Yeah.
why I'm excited to hear you say that.
And we've seen a lot of people go off to college and they come back dumber because they've been indoctrinated. And it's so, they're not, we don't need a lot of people in the gender studies professionals. We need some truck drivers. We need some welders. We need some electricians. We need some medical techs, coders. All of these high paying jobs don't require a college degree. And I don't want to see our kids graduate from high school and then flounder for 5 years while they're trying to figure it out. Let's help them figure it out while they're in high school. Get some trade skill training. You can always then go to college later if you want, but you can always fall back on that career. Some of the most wealthy people I've met on the campaign trail have been people who started off in the trades. Now they have their own company. Maybe they were HVAC techs and now they own an HVAC company and they are millionaires living the American dream. We got to teach our kids how to work again and how to work with their hands and have skills.
Yeah. One of the things that I've been able to do this semester is talk to different city managers and going back to the food tax. And there's certain cities that depend on the food taxes. And
That's
in
right.
class, one of the, I'm going to leave them anonymous, but they had said, well, this food tax that one of the candidates is endorsing is actually going to hurt our community. But I'm like, oh, I'm sure there's subsidizing that is going to occur to kind of help balance things out. That would just make sense. And then my professor was like, well, where are they going to find the money? And I was like,
No,
well, this administration has been printing money for the past 2 years. I'm sure there's money out there that can be
no,
found.
let me tell you what's going to happen. I'll tell you, our cities are flush with cash right now. They don't want the citizens to know that. With the Wayfair ruling, which allowed them to collect taxes on items sold online, they are flush with cash. In this last budget, they got a huge increase in state shared funding. They are flush with cash, and they are all balking because they don't want to they don't want to give any of it back to the citizens. The citizens are struggling right now, and the cities can afford to do this. Now, what they try to do is scare the citizens and to say, oh my gosh, if we don't make you pay tax on groceries or tax on your rent, then we're not going to have enough to pay for fire and police. And my message to those people is, if you're elected city officials, when they're faced with having to make any cutbacks, the first thing they want to do is cut police and fire. You should vote those people out. If the first thing they go after is public safety, you should vote those people out. They have plenty of money. We will work with much smaller municipalities that are struggling to help them, but we will help them find a way to work around not having this tax. It's onerous. It's too much for the citizens of Arizona. They shouldn't have to be taxed on their food, and they shouldn't be taxed on their rent.
One more, just because I know we're coming up on that 10 minutes here. And I'll let you choose the one we want to address. Is it affordable housing, or should we talk about climate and the semiconductors? Because all of a sudden, the past week, I've been studying water consumption, and we've all known that there's a drought situation in Arizona. And I think a lot of people don't understand semiconductors, and they're blaming Governor Doug Ducey. They're not taking into account that some of the cities are actually brokering these deals with the Taiwan, with this other company, and they're giving the permits to be able to give up their water usage rights as well.
Let's talk about affordable housing first, because I think that really affects a lot of people. You know, there's no way around getting a more affordable housing than building more housing. And right now, the cities make it very difficult. They drag their feet when it comes to permitting, because see, when you're a bureaucrat, you have all the time in the world. But when you are a businessman or a businesswoman running a construction company or a home building company, time is money, and it takes forever to get the permitting. We are going to require cities and municipalities to speed that up. I tell you, I talk to people who build homes, and they go, hey, if they don't want us to build them, they're fine, but don't drag it out for 6 and 10 and a year, month. You know, we don't want 12 months wait. Speed it up. Let us know if it's a yes or no so we can move on. And we're going to require that cities speed that process up. We want to build more housing. It's a supply and demand issue. And we've got people moving here because these other blue states with their terrible policies are driving people away. So we're competing with people coming here from other places for housing, and we got to build more housing. We're going to work to make that happen. When it comes to the semiconductors, I'm all for bringing businesses in. They are going to be reusing a lot of the water, but we need to have a climate where we're welcoming to business. When our business climate is doing well, our people are doing well. That means we could lower our taxes when we have all this revenue coming in from business, because we have extra revenue coming in. Then we can lower taxes for the hardworking people of Arizona. We will work on our water issues. I am vowing to do that. That is going to be a top priority. I've been here for 27 years. I'm tired of people talking about our water issues. We're going to get some action, actually drill for some more water, maybe tap into some of the water that's in the aquifer that would tap into the Sea of Cortez. We can desalinate that. We can do desalinization for underground brackish water that we have currently that just needs to be cleaned up. There are solutions for water. We will explore every single one of them. We're going to stop talking about it and start doing something.
I wasn't asked you about recusing, Katie Hobbs, because, I had to recuse myself from radio. I had to leave radio in 2020 when I ran for mayor of Phoenix.
We've been calling for this since the month after we got in. I got in June of 21. I threw my hat in the ring in July of 21. We said, she can't be in charge of this. It's a conflict of interest. It's unethical. But it doesn't surprise me, because she has run that office in such an unprofessional way. She's only shown up for work 19 days out of the last 6 months. She's had the office closed down for 2 years due to COVID. And this is the kind of governor you would get with her. Somebody who'll close our businesses down, somebody who won't show up for work, somebody who's unethical, somebody who's incompetent. And that's why I don't think the people of Arizona will vote for her. She's a coward who won't debate me. John Fetterman, who just had a stroke, did a debate. And Katie Hobbs won't. That tells you everything you need to know about her. She's not confident. She has terrible ideas, and she's afraid of the people, and she disrespects them.
And I think it's a voter opportunity, right? To talk to the people. That it might not even be about you. It's talking to the other people, talking to the voters. It's not necessarily about you debating the candidate. You want to get your message out. At least I would think that would be their mentality.
We have so many issues facing this state, big, important issues that we need to tackle. And if you're not courageous enough or don't have a plan and can't come on the stage and face the people of this state, you don't deserve the job, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if you saw the infamous clip of Katie Hobbs when she was asked, just name one great thing you've learned from the Latino community, and she could not answer that question. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it was
It was really
embarrassing.
embarrassing.
Well, yeah.
My husband and children are Latino, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, mom, you should put that in an ad." That was so bad. So, she's obviously can't communicate. She doesn't understand Arizona, and she doesn't respect the people. That's my final parting words.
I wasn't ask you what are you doing on Wednesday? Like, what's the first thing you're waking up and doing? I was gonna say, I bet you're gonna take a vacation, but no. Looking at
I know.
watching you, I think you're gonna get right to work.
I'd love to take a couple days off, but I don't see it in the foreseeable future. Hopefully we have the results on Tuesday night. I really hope so. And we are celebrating and we are getting to work on the transition to bring about some really incredible change, good change, much needed change to Arizona in my administration.
Well, good luck. And again, we are less than 24 hours. Everyone get to the poll. If there's one final push, one message, what would you like to leave them with today?
Get out and vote. Make a plan, take some water and food, wear comfortable shoes, stand in line, and don't get out of line until you cast your vote, and bring 10 friends. Call 10 friends, ask what their plan is to vote. This is the vote that can change the future for Arizona. And we've got a huge movement of young people. They're ready to chart the course for their future, and they are firmly with us, and we are firmly with them.